there was that one scene with that very large lantern and it was red. I think in Chinese culture, red is a very prominent color. So I just wanted to ask Tian, what is the significance of the color red in Chinese art and culture?
Um, oh, well, wait, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so red is it's a pretty popular color in Chinese culture, right? And it symbolizes luck, joy, happiness. It also mainly represents celebration. But well, personally, I don't like the color red, but it's very popular in China. Um, it's also traditionally worn by the Chinese bride, and it's believed to ward off the evil. And what else? It represents summer season and the element of fire that comes with it. And that should be it. Oh, it's a national color of China too. Oh, I wonder why they like color red. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you, Tian. And kind of going off that similar topic, I especially noticed a lot of the red and gold color scheme in a lot of Chinese art and celebrations. And I know we kind of went for it in our PowerPoint here. But I also noticed that during a lot of Chinese celebrations, they have those red and gold envelopes. And so I remember last year actually, and I have it with me now, one of my Chinese friends gave me this like red and gold envelope, and it has like $1 in it, which I'm like really thankful for, and it's also a really nice decoration. But I didn't really know like what it meant. So Tian, could you tell us a bit more about what exactly are these red envelopes, and why are they given during a lot of these different Chinese celebrations?
The red envelopes, they're given during the Lunar New Year, and they're meant to wish people good fortune and good luck for the new year. And when you receive the red envelope, is there money in there?
Yes, I have money in mine, and I'm keeping it. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just the tradition that we do. We usually give those to the children. When I'm older, they're just like, you don't need the thing anymore. I was like, okay.
Wait,
But
that sucks because I feel like the older you get, the more that you would need the money. So
mhm.
yeah, that's
that's
unfortunate.
true. That's true.
But yeah, with I know how red envelopes are very pivotal in the Lunar New Year, but there are other celebrations in China that feature the lantern. So I just wanted to ask, which Chinese celebrations traditionally feature lanterns?
Well, first of all, the Lantern Festival, right? That's what we mainly were talking about. And Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, of course. It's different with the traditional New Year. And the Mid Autumn Festival as well. That's the one. Oh, do you eat mooncakes?
Oh, it's been a quick minute since I've had a mooncake. I don't know about y'all, but
No, I've never had a
Yeah,
mooncake either. Well, I haven't had one yet.
it's pretty fun. That's what you eat for the Mid Autumn Festival. Pretty
mm,
good.
we should have that at iDinner next year. I don't know if there's a
Ooh.
caterer in Bryan College Station, but we need to get mooncakes on the menu.
Oh man, come on.
All right. So I mean, since this is a Chinese lantern class, we are definitely more interested in the Lantern Festival specifically. And so, I mean, personally, I've heard a lot of things about the Lantern Festival, but I don't really know like the significance, and I don't really know like how it is seen, in China and what they really do in China. So, Tian, could you tell us a little bit about what is the Lantern Festival really known as, and how is it seen in China, and what do they do?
Well, it's first as known as the Shang Yuan Festival, and another name associated with it was Xiao Kuo Nian. and Minor New Year, and it's just other names for it. We call it 元宵节, 元宵, if you want to pronounce it correctly as Chinese. And yeah, and it's also known as the Chinese Lovers Festival. It just provided as a rare occasion for young men and women to meet. Nobody does that anymore.
No one doesn't anymore, especially with COVID.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to ask, I know recently, I think the Lantern Festival passed by maybe last month. So I wanted to ask, when is the Lantern Festival celebrated and where is it celebrated?
It's celebrated as the 15th day of the first month of the Chinese New Year. So for 2021, that'll be February 26th. Yeah. And other than China, the Lantern Festival is also celebrated in the East Asian countries, like with large Chinese population, like Malaysia and Singapore. Yeah.
Oh, now I mean, I might be like a bit biased, but I'll highly encourage if y'all ever get the chance to visit the Lantern Festival in Singapore. And I actually used to live in Singapore for a couple years, and I remember during like both the Lantern Festival and the Mid Autumn Festival, you could go to this place called Gardens by the Bay. And if you've seen Crazy Rich Asians, it's like the scene where they are having like a concert, and then there's like all these luminescent like trees and everything. And it's really beautiful because all the streets are lit up, and then they have like lanterns they release into the air. And it's super fun. And I'll always advocate for Singapore. Just want to plug that there. But yeah, I mean, speaking of the best place to view Chinese lanterns, I know you mentioned some of the other places where the Lantern Festival is held in general, but Tian, could you tell us a bit more about where are the absolute best place to view Chinese lanterns?
Oh, the best, huh?
Mhm.
Some of the popular cities like Beijing, Hong Kong, and Nanjing, they're all like really popular cities. Well, they also during the time of the Lantern Festival each year, they'll feature those excellent lantern displays during the national celebrations. Well, also in Beijing, temple fairs are also held in the various venues. And the lanterns, of course, they can be seen everywhere during their worship and celebration. And some other places in China, like Beijing's Forbidden City and Pingyang's ancient city, and they also hang the lanterns for the decoration.
Okay, that's neat. I know RK is concerned with the best place, but I'm more concerned with the size of things. So, where is the largest of the Chinese Lantern festivals held?
Largest?
Yes.
Well, first is Taipei, which is that's in Taiwan, I believe. Yeah, that's one of the major cities in Taiwan. It's centered around the whole week of this festivities called Tourism Week, and that's for Taipei. And also held each year in the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall Plaza. It's attended by thousands of people each year and taking part or just watching the festivities. And what else? Thailand. Ah, Thailand. I've never been to Thailand actually. I just heard of it. It's called the Peng Festival. It's also one of the biggest lantern festivals in the world. They gather around to release lanterns into the sky. Takes places in November rather than February. And what else? Like Qinghai International Lantern Festival. It's basically the same thing. It's in Nanjing, as I mentioned before, between February 4th and March 31st. Yeah. That should be. Yeah, that's most of them.
All right. So I know we've talked a lot about the Chinese Lantern Festival, but we did mention some other festivals a couple slides ago. So Tian, I was wondering, are there any other celebrations that are similar to the Chinese Lantern Festival?
Yeah, remember the mooncake, the Mid-Autumn
Yes.
Festival? Yes, it's a really popular celebration that takes place in many East or Southeast Asian countries. It's typically celebrated in September as opposed to February for the Chinese Lantern Festival. And there's a thing called paper lanterns. It's almost like the traditional lantern, but it's made with paper. It's white, I believe. Yeah. And it's also a very popular decoration for that festival. And yeah.
Whenever I think of like mooncakes and the Mid-Autumn Festival, I think of um, that Disney Channel movie, Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior with Brenda Song, because I remember that was the first place where I learned about mooncakes. And I was like, ooh, these look good. I want to try them. So, you
How
know,
would you guys say? How would you guys describe the taste of a moon cake?
Well, it depends on the thing inside. What's that thing called? It's a
Filling?
seasoning? The filling. Okay, yeah. Y- some of them are salty, some are sweet.
Mhm.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely want to try that.
mhm.
You guys are making me crave it.
Yeah, it's very like it's a very like dense like sort of cake. So there's like a lot of filling, but it's not like it wa- uh, it's not like an eclair or a cream puff where like the filling comes out. It's kind of just like molded in there.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely recommend mooncakes, y'all.
It's pretty dry, so you might want to drink something with it.
Get some water, get something.
Yeah.
Okay, noted. So just like how mooncakes are very important in the Mid-Autumn Festival and just how red envelopes are important in the Lunar New Year, there are other customs related to the Lantern Festival. So Tion, what is one of the oldest customs of the Lantern Festival?
Uh, the riddles, of course, as you, I'm pretty sure the video mentioned it too. Well, it's traditionally posted on the surface of a lantern for people to solve. So when you solve it, gifts, prizes, and could be money, they are given to the clever folks who solve them. I can't do them. I guess I'm stupid. Well,
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, a tradition that began during the Song Dynasty, which lasted until today. Um, the riddle, the Chinese believe solving them call for the strength of the tiger. Or so lantern riddles are often called the literary tigers or the lantern tigers. And yeah, and when you solve the riddle, you will be have the shot. Wait, how can I say this? You will be thought to have shot the literary tiger.
Mm.
Yes, yes, I think that's the way to say it. Um, most of the riddles are in Chinese, but well, for example, uh, I can follow you for thousands of miles and not get lost, without fearing cold or fire, neither eating nor drinking, but I disappear when the sun sets. Who am I?
Okay, what's your guess?
My God. Um, self-esteem, I don't know. Like, do you have a guess?
Shadow clone jutsu. Well, can you do it? If you do, I'll give you something like a water bottle or something. Do you want it?
I'm thinking it's probably like maybe your thoughts, maybe.
That's a good
It's a
guess.
good guess.
What's the
it's
answer?
it's your shadow. So shadow will
Oh,
always follow you.
Well, I
Dang,
guess we
your
don't get that water bottle.
your thoughts was a good answer though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I guess I win. Never mind. I do get that water bottle. Thank you.
No problem.
We should make our own riddles and just change the game completely.
We should, yeah.
All right. So now that we learned more about some of the customs and the historical significance of the Lantern Festival itself, let's switch gears to the actual lanterns and talk about their history. So Tian, can you tell us a little bit about what these lanterns are traditionally made out of and what types of like materials do people use to make them?
There are a lot of types of this lantern, like bamboo, wood, a wire is used for the frame, right? And the shade was crafted from the delicate paper or silk. Wow, silk, that's pretty fancy. And anyways, yeah. And the lantern is also decorated with painting, paper cutting, or but yeah, there's not a lot to talk about the lantern itself. Well, we'll be teaching you about making one later in this class, but it'll be pretty simple.
Yeah, very, very beginner.
I, oh, I just wanted to say like I think like on some of the lanterns I can see some like writing or like some calligraphy on there, and I think that would be like a great idea. Maybe like for iArt next year doing like Chinese calligraphy, because I've always wanted to do like sort of like brush painting, the brushstroke type of art. So I think that'd be like a really cool addition, and it's a very historical tradition to Chinese and East Asian cultures. So I would love to do something like that in the future.
Wait, that would
A
be
good
cool.
idea.
Okay, I guess next art, watch out for calligraphy. So Tian, so it's lanterns can be made out of different materials, but I just wanted to ask, were lanterns used for different purposes?
Purposes. Well, the earliest Chinese lantern were created for the practical use in the house, as in like an entranceway lighting, and they eventually become the highly ornamental and the status symbol. And today they're used only for decoration and modern forms of celebration and worship. Uh, Lanterns have become the symbol of national pride in China and are used for decorate homes and public places. And some Chinese people still believe that lightning lanterns ensure, let's say, prosperous future. But for most of this is now to do with the symbolism and spiritual superstition. And yeah, rather than believe in Buddhist deities.
All right. So now that we learned more about the different purposes of lanterns, I kind of wanted to know like if there were just different types of lanterns in general, and like how do we see them displayed in different parts of the world for different celebrations? Hello?
Tian?
I think Tian cut out a little bit, but I can go ahead and explain some of the um, lanterns we have here. So Tian shared some of his information with me just so I knew like where he was going. But let's see, the hanging lanterns. Well, the hanging lanterns are some of the most common type of lanterns in these sort of celebrations. And these lanterns are hung both in the homes and public spaces. And especially, I know you've seen a lot of photos. It might be a bit different because of COVID this year, but in cities and rural places, you will see them with a lot of the street lights, kind of just as you're walking down the street. it makes for a very pretty sort of decoration per se. And so many of these homes and other residences as well will contain these hanging lanterns, especially in their windows during the festival seasons. And so another type of lantern that is really popular are the flying lanterns. And on special occasions, such as like the Mid-Autumn Festival, as we mentioned before, you'll see these floating lanterns being released all over the sky. And I know like Isabella wanted to say something because one of her favorite movies is Tangled. So want to go ahead and talk about your
Yeah.
Tangled connection?
Thank you so much for letting me talk about my favorite movie ever. As you guys should know, there's that scene in Tangled where Flynn Rider and Rapunzel are on that gondola, and like it's for her birthday. Her parents are trying to find her because she's missing for like 18 years. And it's such a romantic scene. You know, they sing "At Last I See the Light" because they're, you know, they're lifting up all the lanterns and they're floating in the air. So those lanterns would be an example of flying lanterns because they're up in the air. But also in the movie, you could see that there were some lanterns on the water and they were floating there too. So those would be examples of floating lanterns. Floating lanterns are more for the water, and flying are in the air.
Yeah, and for floating lanterns, you can definitely see a lot of like different designs, and especially some of the lotus designs I've seen in person are really pretty because they look like lily pads and just like lotuses on the water, and they light up and they're super cool. But yeah, I again would highly recommend if y'all have the chance to, maybe if you're doing a study abroad sometime during February or like November for the Mid-Autumn Festival. If you're studying abroad in Asia, please go to a lantern festival because you will get some really good pictures and really good memories out of that.
That's on my bucket list. Okay,
Really?
so, and yeah, it is. And just so you guys know, we'll be making a hanging lantern because you'll be able to easily, you know, hang it anywhere in the house. So yeah, I'm gonna move on to the next question and ask about duration. So the Lantern Festival has had different lengths in like duration, at times in its long history lasting for maybe 5 days or other times like 3 days. So I would, if Tian was here, I would have asked what was the longest duration of the festival. I'm gonna answer it because he shared the information with me too, and it is 45 days. It was the longest. It was just going. It was a lot that was going on for 45 days. But then when the Chinese Republic formed in 1912, the length of the festival was shortened to 5 days, and then it eventually became shortened to 3 days. So yeah.
That's crazy how like, because I know like a lot of other traditions too, like they started off as like these really, really long and like tedious traditions. And now, you know, we have like 3 to 5 day traditions and everyone's cool with it. But yeah, the Lantern Festival is definitely one of the festivals that I think has a lot of history and heart to it. And so that was one of the reasons why we chose it as our class today, because you know, you may see a lot about it in the media or on, you know, in social media or something like that, but a lot of people don't know the actual history and cultural significance of the Lantern. And so moving on, we have the origins.
Tian is here. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Welcome back, Tian. I know you're having some connectivity issues, but are you good to go now?
Yeah, I think it's the weather. It's kind of windy outside, and I lost power for like 2 seconds.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
no problem, no problem.
Yeah, I'm back, boys.
He's back. Our teacher's back, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, but we are on the question. And so Tian, would you care to tell us about the origins of Chinese lanterns and when in history were they really used for the first time?
The origins of Chinese lanterns. Ah, well, the during the first century Eastern Han Dynasty, which is around 25 to 20 AD, used as
Yeah, Mother Nature. She said, I don't want to come to this class today.
I feel
But
like that sometimes.
sometimes, yes. But I'll continue for Tian. Let's see. Yeah, so Emperor Han Mingdi, who was a proponent of Buddhism in the first century, he was, or he found monks who lit lanterns in temples so that they can show Buddha some respect on the 15th day of the first lunar month. And so he then ordered all the temples, homes, and royal places to light lanterns that evening, and this later became known as the Lantern Festival. And so other people, however, they say that the Buddhists carried lanterns around to help them see the deities that floated around on the night of the festival. And so there's a lot of the Chinese Lantern Festival, it ties back to a lot of these Buddhist origins. And so it really goes to show how much of an influence, religion in general can have on culture and, even their art traditions. And so, Isabella, would you like to ask the next question?
Yes. So yeah, your thing about how people and their religions can form different holidays or celebrations or cultures, and it kind of just relates to how people themselves can, prolong and preserve their own cultures. But during the middle part of the 20th century, the festival was starting to get ignored, and the tradition of having lantern festivals and using lanterns was almost dying out. So how was it kept alive? And the answer is children, would make their own lanterns and they would carry it around the streets, and their families started picking up on it and started using lanterns again, and that eventually revived the Lantern Festival.
Yeah, family is important, y'all, and it's really, these families back then during the 20th century who really helped keep this tradition alive. And now, even though it was dying out back then, we have these global celebrations of Chinese lantern festivals and Chinese lanterns. So, show nothing but respect to those families of the 20th century. But actually, another one of the traditions that is common during a lot of Chinese celebrations is the lion dance. And I've always wanted to be like one of the people doing the lion dance, but I don't know how to get involved in that sort of like dance. But I think that would be so much fun if me and my friends were just like, just trying our best out there, honestly. But I wanted to ask, what is this lion dance and why is it really important to Chinese culture and celebrations? And the lion dance is actually one of the most long-lasting and outstanding traditional folk dances in China. And it can be dated back to the year 220 to 280 AD. So it's been quite a while since the lion dance originated. And the lion in ancient China has always been seen as a symbol of bravery and strength. And by having this lion dance, people thought that it would be able to ward away evil spirits and protect their own families as well as their own livestock. And so lion dances actually require only two highly trained performers in the suit. One acts as the head and the forelegs, and the other one acts as the back and the rear legs. And so they usually have a choreographer, and the lion dances to the beat of the drum, gong, and cymbals. And so it's actually customary to participate in the lion dance, and people will often feed it like the red envelopes we were talking about earlier. So people will like put envelopes in like the lion's mouth, and then the dancer will like take it and be like, "Ooh, that's mine." But yeah, the lion usually it'll like bat its eyes at you, and it'll wish you good luck and ward away those evil spirits.
Okay, so just so we know that if we ever did the lion dance, I would be the head and you would be the tails. Great. So
Okay, sure, okay.
as we all know with Chinese lanterns, they're made in a kind of very distinct shape. They're usually very round and they're usually red. There's meaning behind these traits. So my question is, what do the Chinese lanterns symbolize? So the round shape symbolizes wholeness and togetherness in China. It's reminiscent of the full moon, which presides over the Lantern Festival and the Mid-Autumn Festival. And you guys know how, the moon is very important in Chinese culture. They have a Lunar New Year and all that. Common decorative writings in Chinese calligraphy represent best wishes for a long, healthy life and a prosperous, wealthy future. Typically, lantern crafters will paint dragons for strength, or bamboo for resilience, butterflies and flowers for happiness, and trees and plants for growth. As we've said before, red can be, it's for happiness, it's for good luck and strength. So usually the lanterns are red. And these lanterns can also represent the Chinese zodiac animal for that year.
All right. Wait, Isabel, what's your zodiac sign?
I'm a dragon.
Oh,
Aren't
wait.
you? What?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you are a dragon. You are a dragon. I was like,
You're like a rabbit, right?
I'm a horse. Mm-mm.
Wait, you're what?
I'm a horse.
No, you're like a snake. You're like 2001.
Okay, insult.
2000.
No, I'm joking. No, I'm an O2. I'm an O2 baby.
Oh my God. Sorry, didn't know that he was this young. Sorry, guys.
No, no. We got something to work on, y'all. But anyway,
We'll unpack this later.
back this later. But yeah, as we're starting to wrap up, there's a lot of different, a lot of different ways you can engage in Chinese art and traditions. And one of them is by going to a museum and learning more about the traditions there. And so where is exactly the Lantern Museum in China? Well, the Zigong Lantern Museum is the only museum in China that is dedicated to lanterns and lantern history. And so it's located in the Zigong Sichuan province, and it's called the Lantern Town of the South Kingdom. And it's actually considered one of the 3 wonders of Zigong. And the Lantern Museum is important because it really preserves that history and cultural significance of Chinese lanterns. And there's a lot of cultural relics in general.
Okay, well, to round it out, this is going to be our final question. We all know that people can experience and express their cultures in different ways. Some people use art, and sometimes people use food. So my question would be, what food is most commonly eaten in lantern festivals? It says that name below there. I do not want to do it the injustice of pronouncing it wrong. So RK, if you'd like to say it, go ahead.
With my best shot, I would say Yuan Xiao.
Okay.
Xiao.
And it's basically this dumpling made from sticky rice flour, and it's stuffed with various fillings such as white sugar, brown sugar, sesame seeds, peanuts, walnuts, rose petals, bean paste, and jujube paste, or a combination of those ingredients. They're typically very sweet. It's believed that the balls are all round because it again represents wholeness and togetherness in Chinese culture. You can sometimes put them in soups, and it also, just eating it together with your family is supposed to be just a loving experience, a bonding experience with your family. These dumplings can be boiled, fried, or steamed, and they are custom. And those soups I was talking about, they're usually fermented rice soup. And it is believed that the custom of eating these originated in the Song Dynasty, and it became popular during the Ming and Qing periods.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to a lot of us talk about the Chinese traditions and the more historical points of the lesson today. And now to round it out, I know we were a bit over time, but this will be quick, trust me, quick craft. But if you have your Chinese lanterns that ISA has provided, first of all, thank you for picking it up. I know the weather has been kind of crazy, so thank you. But Isabella, would you be comfortable sharing with us how to make this lantern real quick?
Yes, I definitely would be super comfortable to do so. Okay, so it's really easy. Like, it's a one-step process. So you take the one end of the lantern. So the end has the white stuff on it, which you'll peel off eventually. And you also take out the other end of the lantern, and you wrap it together to form that ball shape. And then at this point, you would take out the white stickers. If I can take it out. And then you would stick it together. And then you would stick it together like so. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's flimsy kind of material, so it's understandable if it's kind of wrinkly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also get rid of the second sticker. If I can take it out.
It's also very thin material, so be careful when you're taking off the sticker just so
Yes.
everyone's clear.
And you just stick them together as well. And just press it together with your fingers.
Mhm.
Okay. RK, how are you doing with yours so far? Is it
Good.
working?
Okay, these stickers are kind of hard, not gonna lie.
Right? It took me like 5 hours to peel off one. Okay. And then let me lift mine up. Okay. Wait a minute.
In a
This kind of
minute.
popped off.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what like the end product should look like. There's gonna be like a metal circle. Mine kind of ripped off because I was playing with it too much, but there's going to be a metal circle on top and this should be on the bottom. And you can find like maybe a nice, you know, hook somewhere in your house and hang it there. Our case looks much nicer than mine,
Make sure
but yeah.
to keep this part with the like the I forgot what this is. The little like crap, what's it called? Yarn.
Dangling thing, yeah.
The dangling thing at the end. Don't hold it upside down. But yeah, this is a really nice decoration to put around. And now y'all can share with your friends all you learned about Chinese lantern traditions. So
Yeah. When Chinese New Year rolls around, you know, now you have a decoration for it.
yeah, y'all
And
gotta
you made it
wait like
yourself.
exactly. But yeah, Isabella, would you like to round us out of our class today?
I yes, I would. So everyone, thank you so much for attending today's meeting, today's event. I know there were some technical difficulties, but thank you for sticking with us. I hope y'all's lanterns looks phenomenal. I hope you guys find a place to hang it somewhere. If you guys just remember to fill out that QR form that we had in the beginning. And also just have a nice day. Thank you so much for joining our first ever iArt event. And thank you.
And thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you.
All right, so howdy and welcome everyone to iWeek's iArt session, Mehendi with Mina. So my name's Stephen White and I'm the program coordinator for International Student Services. And I would like to introduce you to Anna S. Mina, the event coordinator with International Student Services, who is a student and who is also a henna artist who has been applying henna for over 13 years. So Anna, your
Hi, everyone. Can y'all see me?
We can.
Okay, good. Well, hi, like Steven said, my name is Anna. I'm a senior psychology student. I have a minor in business. I graduate this year in December. And also, I have been a henna artist. I started when I was 11 years old. I was not as good as I am today, but it was all a learning process. My parents are actually from Bangladesh. So they immigrated here about 25 years ago, and they've been in Texas ever since. And my granddad was actually a Aggie in the 90s. Yeah, thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited.
So for today's iArt session, Mehendi with Mina, Anna will tell us a little bit about henna as well as demonstrating how to apply the henna. We will divide this session into two parts. So the first part will for her to do a quick demonstration of the henna design while telling you a little bit about the history of henna, the origin, the types, uses, and even the application. And Anna will also demonstrate on a particular design on a piece of paper, similar to as if she were to apply it on someone's skin. But then for the second part, for those of you who have a henna cone and would like to follow along and doing the same design, she'll demonstrate that design step by step, on her own hand. And she'll also be available to answer any questions that you may have during the demonstration. So let's get started. Anna, can you tell us a little bit more about henna? What is henna?
Of course. So to say, I would start with that henna is kind of like decorative hand makeup. We'll get into the uses and the origins in a bit, but that's what I would call it. Decorative hand makeup that's not permanent. It's an art form, and it's an expression, and it's really used for joy and celebrations and to invite people into that kind of movement.
So Anna, we hear that henna is kind of referred to by different names. Henna, mehendi, some people say temporary tattoos, some people say body art. Is it all the same thing? Is it different? Can you share a little bit about all the different names for henna?
Of course. So they're all the same thing. Henna is more of a westernized word for it. In Bangladesh, we call it mehdi or mendi, but there's also different words from it in like Punjab, Sindh, Bombay, Gujarati, and other Middle Eastern countries have their own words for it as well.
So Anna, what are the steps that a person would need to take to prepare before the application of henna?
So the steps that you would first take are to remove any jewelry on your hands. So today I'm going to take off my bracelets. You want to take off any watches or rings that you may have because you don't want them to get stained with this red color forever. And then you would want to wash your hands and make sure that you dry your hands to where they're completely dry. Otherwise, the water could mix in with the henna and it'll smear the henna with whoever the artist is applying. So make sure your hands are dry, and I suggest that people start applying their henna on the non-dominant hand. So if you write with your right hand, make sure that you get your henna applied on your left hand. So if you want to be on your phone, if you want to eat, you're able to do that.
So how did this application of henna begin? What was the original purpose? Where did it start? What geographical region did it start in?
So it started about 5,000 years ago in areas such as Pakistan, India, Africa, and the Middle East. And I'm just gonna pause for a little bit here and move this out of the way and show you what we're kind of gonna do today, which is this. These are the steps, and I'll be redrawing it here if you want to follow along. So, like I said, henna was about 5,000 years ago, but there's dates as far as 9,000 years ago. And because henna has natural cooling properties, people used to slather it on the backs of their hands and their feet. So instead of designs, it would be just like completely henna, and they would wait for it to dry and then wash it off, right? So it would cool people down. And then eventually it evolved into all these sort of different designs for weddings, celebrations, and things of that nature.
So I've heard something about even Cleopatra herself used henna.
Yes, she did. So even Cleopatra, there's articles and dates back to her also using henna, as henna was across all different classes and cultures, and it was just like another decorative art form besides jewelry.
So what is henna made from? What plant does it come from?
That's a great question. So henna is from a plant called Lawsonia inermis. And as you can see on the picture, there's those little brown beads kind of thing, and people will crush them up. And then they will mix them with like lemon juice and like other things like that. So it can have the color that it has. And that's kind of where it's from.
So is all the henna the same? Are there different colors? Are there different types of henna?
There's definitely different colors. As you can see in the picture, it goes from kind of like a red orange color to like a dark brown maroon color. There's also like this red color that we have today, which is more of like a really bright red. But there's also glitter, there's black henna and things of that nature. But for glitter henna, I've been told that it doesn't last. So as soon as you wash your hands, it's gone.
So other than just for fun, what are some other special applications that henna is used for?
So henna is used very commonly for weddings, for celebrations of religious natures, but also in Hinduism culture, they will sometimes have henna for different stories. So like you see in the picture, they have the different stories on each hand. So it's also a celebratory kind of art and also a religious kind of art as well for some people.
So sometimes I've noticed different designs that seem to be just flowery designs, and then sometimes even like in this one, there's pictures of within the designs.
Right. So like not necessarily their different like decorative parts of makeup, if you could say, but there are also certain phrases that you can get tattooed in your skin with henna or something in Arabic. But yeah, and like we said, in other cultures and countries, there are designs that tell stories about the history, culture, society, religion, and even stages of life like marriage.
So what steps should a person take after they've had henna applied to their skin?
After the henna is applied, you definitely want to wait about 30 minutes to an hour at least. Whenever we were younger, we would actually go to sleep with the henna on. And it was a brown color of liquid instead of the maroon we have. Like in the picture, it'd be that brown. And it would be dry to the touch. So right now the henna is like really liquidy, and if you touch it, it will smear. But as soon as the henna dries and it turns into a dark brown, you can wash it off. And that's kind of how you would do that. And also, some people will not use water and they'll use things like baby oil and hold their hands over like a trash can and then kind of rub it off into the trash can, because the oil will allow the color to stay on longer.
So how long would it last?
It usually lasts for about a week to 2 weeks. So it depends on how much you wash your hands, really, because it will fade with water.
Is there anything that somebody can do to make it last even longer?
So like baby oil, some people will put olive oil on, and some people actually like squeeze like the lemon juice onto their hand. I've never done that, but I've heard people do that sometimes.
So if someone wants to actually get some henna cones themselves, and hopefully those that are joining us have some henna cones that ISA has passed out, but if they would like to get some on their own, how would they get some henna cones?
Right, so the ones that ISA were so kind to give us, they are from Amazon. But in town, there's a store in Bryan called Mini Mart. It's in Bryan. It's a small Indian grocery store. It has Indian snacks and things. And if you walk in, there's the counter on the left, and usually they'll have henna cones on the counter. But they also have a fridge. If you go further into the store, they have these really large fridges, and there's usually henna cones like in a tub, and they're a clear like covering. So this one has silver on it, right? But sometimes they'll have like clear ones. And if you're confused and you can't find them, definitely ask the employees that work there. They're always super nice and eager to help. Oh, and also they have henna cones all over Houston, all the different Asian stores. They usually have them by the counters. So yeah.
And there's also a store, the Shell gas station right across the north side of campus also has henna there, from what I understand.
Yes.
And I know quite a few students from India and other parts of South Asia and even the Middle East. And I've heard some of them they can bring the henna back from their countries at a much cheaper cost than what you would purchase in the local stores.
Definitely, that's very true.
Well, how can someone contact you if they would like to know a little bit more information about henna, maybe even to set up a session for you to do the henna?
Yeah, of course. So my Instagram is on the slide that you see, Mehendi by Mina, and you can shoot me a DM if you want to set up your own personal appointment or your appointment with friends, or even if your student organization wants a henna artist for, say, fundraisers. You can send me a message through there, or you can email me at my A&M email. Make sure to try to have something like henna or mehendi in the subject line, so it's easy for me to find and save. But that's how you could get into contact with me.
All right, well, thank you, Anna. And so now we kind of come to that point where we're actually going to transition. Now that you've kind of seen most of the design completed on the piece of paper that Anna's doing, as well as learned a little bit about henna, we're going to actually repeat the same demonstration, but this next time, once she's done, we'll take it step by step, and Anna will actually apply it to her hand. So the same design that she's doing on the piece of paper. And those of you that have a cone, you're welcome to also follow along and apply it directly to your hand. as Anna will be doing, or if you don't necessarily want to try for the first time on your hand, because it will stain it, we'll leave the henna for a week to possibly 2 weeks, as Anna had mentioned. You can do it on a piece of paper too. Sometimes people for the first time like to just do it on a piece of paper, and then after they tested it out, then they apply it to their hand. So as we do this, you'll go a little bit slower, because if this is your first time, you may not be able to do it as fast as Anna has done. And so we'll try to do this step by step, a little bit slower. If we go too fast, feel free to, in the chat, say, can you slow down a little bit, and we'll pause so that way you can catch up. And then hopefully you can actually repeat this whole design on your hand, just like Anna has done. You're also welcome to ask any questions that you may have as Anna demonstrates. And RK, Isabella, myself will kind of watch the chat, so that way if you have a question, we'll even give you the chance to unmute yourself. If you just want to speak up and ask a question as Anna is demonstrating, you're welcome to do that. But before we start, Anna, can you tell everyone pretty much the best way to hold the henna cone, or any tips that they may need to know before they're applying it for the first time?
Sure. So if you have a henna cone that ISA has provided, some of y'all may have a cap at the end. Make sure to take that off and grab a pair of scissors if you have some nearby. And then make sure to cut the end if it's not already cut. That way you can apply the henna on the cone. See, now it's coming out. And make sure to hold it. If you had like a pencil or a pen, you do that, yeah. However you hold a pencil or a pen with your dominant hand or the hand that you write with, you can hold the henna cone the same way. And make sure you don't hold it from like up here, because if you do that, then you're not gonna have much control over it. I'll kind of squirt out all over your hand. If you drink out, your hand's gonna stain like that. So be very careful. Also grab some like tissues or like a paper towel, so you can like maybe do that. Or if it's like getting really clumped up, you can kind of wipe the henna cone off and start kind of new. So yeah, that's how you would hold it. And yeah.
So Anna, what you may want to do is kind of adjust your piece of paper so you can kind of show them the design with the steps.
Right.
Or they can see it like that too.
Okay, so this is kind of what's going to be the end result that I just drew. And these are the steps kind of outlined one by one. Do you think setting it here is okay, Stephen?
Yeah, yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good. And then I'm going to start with my left hand. So
And I tell you what, why don't you move the paper kind of up on the screen, and that allows room to be able to see your hand as well as to see the piece of paper. Yeah, there you go.
This good?
That'll work. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So does anyone have any questions before we start?
And I've given you the chance, if you would like to unmute yourself and ask a question, you can do that. If you just want to type a question in the chat, you can do that too. Otherwise, Anna will begin, and we'll try to take this slowly and step by step, so that way you can follow along. Some of you may have already done this, and you'll be able to do it just as fast as she can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please feel free to stop us and mute yourself. You're like, oh my gosh, please slow down. It will not offend me at all. I just want this to be as the best of a learning experience for you all as possible. But yeah, if you have no questions, we'll start. So I'm going to start in the corner of my hand. So this is your wrist. I'm going to start kind of like right here. And just a little dot for the beginning.
And obviously, if y'all are left-handed, then you can just do the opposite. You can use your left hand to do it on your right hand. And you could do it at the top, you could do it at the bottom, or follow along as Anna's doing. So this first part, she's actually drawing that first flower. And so this is kind of the center part of the flower.
And then I'll go in with the petals.
I've seen henna done quite often, but I've never actually done it myself. So I don't know if there's kind of an adjustment of trying how much to squeeze, how much pressure to use. But I know that you squeeze less, you get less that comes out. Squeeze more comes out.
True, very true. It's definitely a learning process. When I was younger, it was really difficult for me to learn how to hold it. I actually have a few different henna cones here. So this is a longer one. I'll pause here. So if anyone's still trying to do the little leaves, we can pause there. This is one henna cone that I have from Mini Mart. It was in the fridge, so it's clear and you can kind of see the henna everywhere. This one was really hard to learn how to hold because it's much longer. These are the ones we have today. And so I'd kind of hold them like this, and then I would hold them like half of it's like falling down. It was definitely a learning process. Oh my God. See, move your hand around.
Well, maybe this is a good example of what to do if you make a mistake.
Just try to, I guess, wipe it off as soon as possible. And then you can go over it. Damage control.
Yeah, so you probably need to keep your hand as still as possible and maybe as comfortable as possible while you're doing this over, however period of time that you would be doing this.
Yeah, usually, go ahead.
I was about to say, if you want to go ahead and just start with the petals, that way they can see how you do the petals to kind of complete that first flower.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with the petal. So usually I'll have someone set their hand on a towel and make sure there's no white around. Can you see the flowers okay as I draw them, Stephen?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if you can put your hand down on the table so it's more comfortable. And I think they can see it. If you wanted to angle it just a little bit, roll it a little bit more toward us, but that may be awkward for you, but that's good. I think we can see it.
Okay. Yeah, that's the flower part. And then we're gonna go with the kind of like circular, like a leaf, really big leaf. I'm gonna start in the second petal, the little edge where the petals end.
Now, is there anyone that has any questions or comments? Unless y'all are all busy actually doing it and therefore you can't really type.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, how do you know if it's like too little? Like you put on too little and it won't like leave any like ink on you, any color?
Okay, that's a good question. So for the one that we're using today, there won't be any like too little because you can see it's more of a liquid stain, so it's turning red already, it's like that. But for say this one, I'll kind of demonstrate on this paper. If you don't press this one hard enough, see it's kind of dry, so it's not coming out. I'm gonna try to cut it. If you use one of the brown cones like this one, and it's much drier, if you don't kind of do a thick stain, it's not going to show up. It's going to be really thin, and it's going to dry, and it won't last as long as the thicker parts of the design. So you see how it's black, and it's kind of like not coming out as much as you would want. So you'd kind of want to do more thicker. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. Also, how long until like the henna dries out? Like in the little bag?
In this one?
Yeah.
Like how long would that be good that you can still use it?
I think I've had this for like a year, so it's definitely been too long. Like the longer you leave it, because this one, as you saw, it's kind of dried out. I just wanted to demonstrate the different cones. Like I don't know if this one would even stain anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of like paint where you want to keep it covered and not exposed to air. So you'd probably even want to cover your tip if you're not using it anymore. But I think they say that in general, about a year, the henna is really not going to be effective in staining for, very long. And as an observer, I noticed that sometimes people are more concerned about what it looks like when they apply the henna, but really what's more concerned is once the henna's gone and what the stain it leaves behind is kind of what you're more concerned with, because usually that's what people want.
Yeah. So I'd say like 2 to 3 months. I don't know if longer would be a good idea, just depending on where you fit into.
And there is a difference in quality of different henna cones. So I think the higher quality, probably more expensive, it'll last a little bit longer. The lower quality that's, real cheap, probably wouldn't last as long.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and like Steven said, to put like a pin. So another cone that I have, this one already has a pin. I haven't used it. So you would just take the pin out. Make sure to put it in a place that you can find again so you can close the henna cone. But then, kind of feel like this one. Yeah, so this one's like the darker one. See, it's more liquidy. I don't know if you can tell in the paper, but it's that one right there. It's less dry.
It came out a little bit faster.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it looked a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so that's the kind of leaf. And I'm going to start doing the little curly parts on the inside. They kind of look like cereal, kind of like Cheerios. That should be.
Now, do any of the designs have particular names to them, or are they just designs?
Ooh, I've never heard any names for the design since I've been doing it since I was a kid, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd like to know the answer to that too. Yeah, since I was younger, even before I started, picked up a henna cone and just started drawing very bad things that weren't that great. My mom was like, "They're great." I would get my henna done at the mosque. If you don't know what a mosque is like church, but for Muslims. There's one kind of in the Northgate area, to be honest. It's a white building, really tall, and it has glass on the outside. Pretty. And so at night during Ramadan, if you've heard of Ramadan, it's like a religious month for Muslims where Muslims will fast from sunrise to sunset. So we wake up before sunrise, which is 5:30. We eat a big meal and we drink a lot of water, because as soon as the sun rises, we can't eat, or we don't eat and we don't drink water, gum, nothing until sunset, which is usually 8. And that's actually starting soon. I think it's April 11th actually. So if you see any Muslims not eating, that is what's going on. And at the last day, so the 30th day of Ramadan, because it lasts 30 days and 31 days, next day is Eid. So it's I describe it as Muslim Christmas. So the night before, all the women will gather in the masjid or the mosque, and it will be henna night pretty much. Or they'll go to each other's houses and do henna night. And there'll be some aunties, older women, or me, who will do henna on the little kids, all the moms, anyone who wants henna. It'll just be kind of a fun thing before Christmas, for example, or Eid. And that's a thing in the morning where it's oh my gosh, how dark did yours get? You left it on longer, that kind of thing.
So do guys ever do the henna?
So I've done henna on guy friends, but usually my brothers and their friends, if you're Muslim, they'll be no, that's a girl thing. But in America, it's if guys get it, that's fine. And on guys, whenever guys do in South Asian culture, it's usually their wedding. But besides that, not really. Or it's during Eid. But the decorative designs are usually designs that women wear or get.
Actually, just as a personal story, 2 years ago, for one of the football games, had one of my girls do henna on my face that had Jimbo, Gigamaggies, and some other designs.
That's cool.
But it stayed on there for a few days. It wasn't just for the football game. It was a lot longer than that. So Anna, how'd you get started with doing henna?
I know I picked up like a comb in 7th grade. I had a friend who was like a year or two older than me, and he was doing henna on like the aunties and the moms, the little girls. I was like, I want to try that. I kind of picked one up and I just started drawing. And I would do henna on anyone and everyone that would let me. Oh, they were so kind. But yeah, as you'll see, I'm doing the second leaf, and I didn't go far enough to do the lines on that side. So I'm just gonna kind of fill it up with more curlies. But yeah, improv. Oh, and another question I get asked, like right now, do I ever have designs in my mind? Not really. I drew this before the event, and I was like, okay, I have a set design that I need to do. And yeah, so I usually improv as I go.
So does anybody else have any other questions?
Feel free to ask about like anything really. At the mosque, Eid, Ramadan. If you ever gotten henna before, how to go.
Is anyone actually following along and doing the henna on their own hand? I don't know if you're able to say if you are or not, if your hands are busy.
I'm just doing it on paper for now.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Well,
How's
that's
it
a start.
going?
It's going.
Actually, I'll pause. Yeah, that's the second lead.
Now, is Anna going too fast for you to keep up, or is this a good pace?
I think it's a good pace.
Okay.
Also, and I just remembered this, people do henna at the Renaissance Festival. If you've never been, there's like the Texas Renaissance Festival. I think it's 25 minutes out. Stephen, please correct me if I'm wrong. But they do henna there. But it's really expensive. But that's a place you get henna.
It's also very expensive.
Yeah.
Any places like the Renaissance Festival or these big events, sometimes the henna can be very expensive for someone to apply it. If someone were to have it done here locally, Anna, what's kind of the general cost for a design like this size right here?
I have actually never gotten henna from anyone in town or at like a salon. I think there's only one maybe that does it, and I don't know their prices, but I would say if like 25 or more would be like between 15 and 25 depending on the artist, how long they've done henna, and that's how they would price something like that. Like 50, what did I say? 15 and 25 or something smaller. So if it was just like a flower in the first leaf, that would be, I would say, lower than that.
Now for the World Fest, they would have several different organizations and tables that would provide the henna. Of course, this last one they didn't because it was mainly virtual.
Oh, did Stephen cut out?
No, my the music came to an end.
Oh, okay.
So we'll start it again. Yeah. Actually, it's on my iTunes, and so the next song that's showing up after this is AC/DC Thunderstruck. So that's what was about to play when that ended.
Oh, that would definitely be a mood.
Yeah, so if y'all are feeling sleepy, I guess that would probably wake you up. Yeah, well, whenever I watch people do the henna, it seems like it's just a lot of just squiggly lines that, really there's no right or wrong way to do it other than just, starting and trying it and doing squirrely lines and filling in the space with other lines. It may not be the best way to describe it.
I mean, actually, whenever I use the brown henna, a lot of people tell me it looks like chocolate, which I agree.
But don't eat it.
Definitely don't. Oh, I don't know if we mentioned this, but henna is also applied as hair dye. It has really, really good properties to like heal your hair, kind of like coconut oil, but like different things. Because it's all natural, right? Like the brown henna and whatnot. And then people also put it on their nails as nail polish because it'll stain red. Yeah.
So if you put it in your hair, it may change the color,
Oh, definitely, definitely.
especially if you've got light colored hair.
Yeah, yeah. If you have blonde hair or like a balayage of blonde and browns, and if you put henna in it, it's definitely turning like a red or an orange. FYI.
Now, can it stain your clothes?
100%.
Okay.
So if it got on my clothes, well, this is red. But if I was wearing like a blue, any color shirt except for black, this would stain too. It won't be. Definitely don't want to do that. Oh, I just thought of something. Like if you were to tie dye a t-shirt with henna, I wonder how that would go. Oh, actually don't do that, because if you did that and you washed the shirt, everything in your whatever you washed with it would turn orange because it fades with water. That would be interesting. Or maybe like a tapestry. I'm just saying words here. But that'd be actually kind of cool, to tie-dye tapestry.
Probably have to wash it individually rather than, with anything else.
Yeah, I kind of want to try it now. But I hope I'm not going too fast for anyone. I've just been adding lines and then the little half moon circles down my finger.
Now, I think you covered this earlier, but how long should you leave it on there before you actually wash it off?
For this one, I would say like 15 to 30 minutes would be fine because it has like that red color already, but not for too long, because whenever I was drawing this, you can see how this one's recent, like I was doing in the earlier part of the video. And then since I can't wash it off the paper, it thickened. So it kind of spread a little bit. So I definitely advise you to wash it off in probably 20 minutes, to be honest. 20, 30 minutes, and you should be good. Because you can see where I already like smeared it. It's already a little red, so that's good. So you're gonna have the red color regardless. You don't have to worry about that. Because for some of the cones like this one and this one, if you've never used them, you don't know where you're gonna get. So people usually leave those on for longer just in case. And if you do have trouble later on, and if you're not sure to wash it off, you can feel free to email me or DM me on Instagram. Now I'm gonna do the leaf part, like the last part, which is the tip of the finger.
So you'll kind of do that where it ties into the other part of the leaf, or the other part of the design?
Yeah.
Wait, so Anna, you said that in Mini Mart they have like henna cones like in the fridge and then on the counter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a certain benefit by like refrigerating the henna cones, or do they just put them there for convenience?
I never really asked that question, but whenever we were younger, we would put the henna cones in the fridge, and I think it's to just keep the properties, the chemical properties from kind of wearing out more, and the heat, because that wouldn't be good. So yeah, I think it's just to like preserve the color.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I would honestly, if you go to Mini Mart and you see some on the counter and you see some in the fridge, I recommend the ones in the fridge.
I think it probably preserves it a little bit longer, but you definitely want it warmer whenever you're about to use it, because then it's probably harder coming out of the refrigerator.
Yeah, totally. If you do put yours in the fridge, leave it out for like a little bit until it kind of melts, but don't wait too long because you don't want it to be completely liquid and like toothpaste all over your hand. That would not be good. So like this one would kind of be like if you just took it out of the fridge, and then this one would be if you waited a little while because it went more smooth, like room temp. And then I'm gonna go in with the curly hue parts right now. They're almost done. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun.
If anybody is willing to turn on their video and show us what you've done so far, we'd love to see. You don't have to, it's optional.
Mm-hmm.
And I just typed in the chat Anna's contact information, so that way if you want to reach out to her, you can look at her Instagram account. She's got a website, Mehendi by Mina, and her A&M email if you just want to reach out and ask further questions or visit further about henna or anything else. You can do that.
Yeah. So I think we're done. That's all we have.
Well, so Anna, thank you for demonstrating and telling us a little bit about henna. We thank you all for joining and hope that this was beneficial for you to kind of learn a little bit more about henna, maybe practice a little bit, or at least get started with doing henna on your own for your own skin, or maybe for somebody else. And RK and Isabella, we appreciate you guys in ISA allowing us to be a part of your iWeek and doing the henna session.
Yep, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I hope y'all did too.
Yes, thank you so much. And
Thank
it
you.
was definitely fun. And we hope y'all enjoyed it so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So
Does
did,
Sorry.
well, I was about to say, is anybody willing to show us if they attempted to do henna themselves?
Anybody?
Oh, there we go.
Ooh, this is so cool. I love it.
Good job. So were you able to finish it all?
I don't know. Oh, we can't hear you because you're on mute if you're talking.
Multitasking.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if she wants to look at the thing.
In case anybody else was wanting to see the finished design. I keep saying one of these days that I need to practice doing henna.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Well, I don't know if anybody else is going to be joining the Chinese lantern making class. I know that's at 3 o'clock, and we appreciate ISA hosting this whole week full of all kinds of great events for iWeek. I haven't been able to watch all of them, but I've seen a few of them, so it's been kind of fun this week to see the eye stories, the eye exhibits, the eye show. I didn't get the eye dinner because I missed out on getting in early enough.
Yes, like Stephen said, we do have another class coming up at 3 o'clock. iArt is not over yet, and it's going to be on making Chinese lanterns. So we've sent out emails for anyone who's RSVP'd for iArt, but if you guys want the if you guys want us to send you guys the Zoom link again, feel free to like stay in the chat, like put your email down below in the chat, and we can email you there for sure. And thank you so much for attending today's iArt event. And thank you again to Anna and Stephen. Thank you so much. This was a great tutorial. This was a great presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'd love to have you back again next year for more henna. Oh my gosh, this has been super, super cool.
Now, Anna, I don't know if you want to explain what you're wearing, so that way, if anybody didn't realize that she kind of dressed up for her session too. So
Yeah, okay, so like I said, Eid and Ramadan, those are like religious holidays. So we have kind of like outfits that we wear. They're called salwar kamises. So this is like called a dupatta or an orna, and it's just like a long kind of decorative piece. And sometimes they'll have like beads all over it. And this is like the dress portion. But yeah, so this is what we usually wear for Eid and when we wear henna. That's that.
Is the color red like of any significance, or is it just like any color? Like you were just feeling red today, like.
I was kind of feeling the red, but there's different colors. I have some in purple, blue, green, a beige. There's like so many different ones, but usually for weddings, like I'd say 99% of the time, the brides will wear red for sure.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, and there's also an event. It's called Mehendi Night or Mehendi Night for the bride and all the women and like the bridesmaids, like a full-on henna session that lasts for hours because the
Ooh.
brides will actually get henna from like their fingertips all the way up, and their feet. So yeah, that's the
Ooh.
thing.
Oh.
Wait,
I
that
don't know.
sounds like really cool. That's like a girl night session. Oh,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because usually Desi weddings are like a week long. We have 1, 2, 3.
Oh, Anna, you're going to have to explain Daisy to everybody because they may not know
Oh,
what the term is. So yeah.
sorry. Desi is like any like South Asian country culture. So India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, um, Indonesia, countries like that. Oh, there's a question in the chat.
Yeah, if the bride wears red, does everyone else avoid wearing red?
You know, you would hope. But sometimes there are women who will dress up in red, and I never do. Whenever it's like a wedding, I make sure not to because the focus should be on her. Just kind of the same thing if like a woman in like here would wear her white dress, you don't want to wear right, right? Because it's her day. But yeah, usually no, but some people do. I have to leave. Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming. Mhm.
Well, we're pretty flexible to stay on and answer any questions, or if y'all need to head on. It's a Friday, so that's good. There's graduation ceremonies going on, end of the week.
Yeah. They still staying on.
Yeah, I think Anna's favorite color is red though, because
Yeah.
yeah. Now, does this happen to be the same one that we use the pictures?
Is it? Oh
I
no,
don't
that's
know.
sorry.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had like a picture in here, but I do have like a black one that's really cool. I can't hear you, Isabella. I don't know if
oh
it's
yeah, I was just saying like a black one. That would have been nice to see.
yeah,
But I love red.
I can
Red
get
is
it.
my favorite color. No, I don't want to trouble you.
No, it's okay. Here, I'll just grab it real quick. It'll take like because I was debating. I didn't know if I wanted to wear this one or that one.
Wait, I love the red too.
Yeah, I know that in a lot of the other countries and cultures that it's more common for people to wear colorful clothing instead of white, just black and white.
So this is oh hello. So this is like kind of how they're folded,
Mhm.
or how yeah you'll usually find them in the store. But I don't know if you can see that, but that's like the black version.
Oh, that's pretty.
Right? So it's
Looks
like
nice.
different. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so they're different styles. That was a good question, okay. Colors. Okay. And this tablecloth is actually not a tablecloth, it's a sari.
Ooh.
Wait a minute. Plot
That's like
twist.
rainbow. I saw that.
Yeah, so it's like a really colorful thing going on.
Oh my gosh, so hopefully you didn't get any henna on that, stain it.
I don't think so, but this one's really old, and I usually use it for like tablecloth stuff whenever I do
Oh,
henna.
okay.
Yeah. I wore it like a couple times when I was younger, but it's like really sparkly.
When we've done some of our events where we wanted to set up like a photo booth, the girls, my daughters, they have used some of the saris that they have to drape and all the different colors and stuff. And so we've actually had some of the students when they come back from India to bring back some saris. So we've got a lot of them.
That's yeah, I'll do that too. I think I have one more person. I don't know if she's waiting on this part.
Should I go ahead and like end the recording now, or should I just let it?
Oh yeah, you can end it. Yeah, we're
Okay.
just kind of sticking around. Yeah, Leah just left us. So
She left.
Okay.
yeah, but